Hello, hello, hello. So it's Friday. It's around 6:30 p.m. Paris time, and here I come with my Goddess Cards Friday. So if you want a card for the weekend, or for your month, or for your day, or for whatever the time and minute of life it is now at your place, just give me your name in the comments, and I will pull a card for you. The deck I'm using today is my very classic Goddess Guidance Oracle cards. And I wanted to talk a little bit before I go into pulling cards for you, because there's no one there for now. It's just me. So I want to talk a little bit about what does that mean, pulling cards for people? And why do I do it? And why do I do it online? And why do I do it for free? And why do I do it on Facebook? So on the whole, for me, first of all, decks are friends, advisors, counselors. And this is actually my very, very first deck. I've had this for over 20 years now. And I'm really fascinated by how these things function. So the main thing is that when you own a card deck, an oracle deck, and I'm not talking about the tarot here. I might do a live about the tarot today. I'll be talking about oracle cards as a whole. And again, if you want a card, just give me your name in the comments. So I wanted to talk a little bit about oracle cards and how they function. First of all, for me, they're counselors, or let's put it this way, friends that give me advice. And like friends, sometimes they give unrequited advice, and sometimes they give bad advice, and sometimes they give good advice and I don't follow it, because I am the creatrix of my own life, just like you are. And so I have a choice to actually follow the advice or not. So, and obviously, not obviously, for me, I strongly believe that oracle decks have no clue about my future or yours. And so when I do a reading, it's not to tell you what's going to happen. I don't know if you are going to meet this handsome, tall, dark man that you have been dreaming about. I don't know if you get the promotion or if you're going to find your dream house. What I do know, when I pull a card for you or a series of cards for you, what I do know is what energy is there. What energy shows up in your life today. And if you have a question related to your card, then the energy that comes is about what energy is available to you to choose and use in your future regarding your issue, question, problem. But it's not me telling you, yeah, sure, I know into the future, and I can see what's going to happen, because basically I don't know the future, and neither do you. And we don't know it because we are standing here. No, sorry, we are walking here, creating it step after step. So basically, there's no way I can know what's going to happen tomorrow, because I might change my mind and do something completely different tomorrow, which means that the future that I'd planned is not going to happen. So that's why I believe that oracle decks are not prediction tools. They are very, very useful tools to show me things that might be hidden in the darkness, to show me what energy is available for me at any given moment, and what energy I can lean on, what energy I can harness and literally utilize in my life for whatever my projects are or my problems are. So once again, if you want a card today from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue, just give me your name in the comments and I will pull cards for you. I hope I can see the comments, because I see there's people, but I don't have any comments. So let me see if my Facebook is playing tricks again. In the meantime, let me recap that I am... Oh, here we go. Hi, Diana. Sure. Okay, so the comments are working. Diana's here. Great. So yeah, that's my main take on Oracle decks. And then, of course, but I'll come to that after your card, Diana, so that you don't wait if you don't want to stay there. So, which goddess energy is with you today, Diana? And you do know, obviously, that your name is a goddess name. One of my faves. So, you have White Tara. And White Tara, so she's a goddess from China, or of Buddhist ascent, or descent, rather. And she's all about the sensitivity. And she's really coming here to make you aware that you are becoming more and more sensitive to anything harsh, basically. And that would include chemicals, that would include harsh environments, like maybe a competitive situation in work circumstance, but also harsh relations, things that are aggressing. So can you become aware of that? That's the invitation, Diana. And can you take better care of yourself, to accept that you are in a phase of your life, or maybe a day or a week or whatever, the time lapse for cards is always tricky, because sometimes you think, oh, I'm asking for today, and then I get something that is for a longer period of time. In this deck, I have a funny story to tell you. Whenever I pull a card tonight, so basically after my clever bedtime, because I'm not that clever, sometimes I miss my bedtime and I do other stuff, whether I get carried away by passion or by a TV show that I love, or by writing or by reading. So whenever I carried away past time, and if I pull a card for myself just before going to bed, I will always get the goddess Siege, whose message is rest. So it's literally go to bed now. Isaiah, stop talking, stop doing anything else. Brush your teeth and go to bed. And I love that. So Diana's saying, yes, that's resonating. I'm aware of myself lately. I'm especially aware of masculine energy, but I want to step into feminine energy. So the thing is, if I may, that you can't step into feminine energy. That's the thing, because feminine energy is not a thing that we can step in. First of all, being a woman, you are in feminine energy. Not that men don't have it, but it's mostly a thing. It's not about doing. So stepping is an action. So if you want to connect with feminine energy, it's way more about the letting go, the receiving, and the taking one step back if you're going to do anything, but mostly in the being. So what can you do, Diana, in your life that is more of the being sort? Can you find places in your life or situations in your life where you can just be? And that is connecting with feminine energy. It's not more complicated than that. It's not, of course, it's, if you learn about the goddess, if you learn about the archetypes, connect to your menstrual cycle, connect to the moon, obviously all these actions are going to help you get acquainted with what feminine energy is. But the main thing is that we have to switch back into the being type of action. To the being type of being. Let me put it this way. Good points. Receiving and letting go and being. Good points. Thank you. My pleasure. Enjoy the receiving and the letting go. It's always, and it's a good season for that if you live in the northern hemisphere, because we are in the middle of autumn, and autumn is the letting go season. Let's all take lessons from the trees who let go of everything. So if somebody else wants a card from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, just give me your name in the comments and say you want a card. And I hope that makes sense, Diana, about the feminine energy. Now, if I go back to my subject for today, so Oracle decks and how to use them and why and how. So the thing is, they're objects also, like physical objects, right? They have boxes and they're paper. So it's also a question of how much we get connected with each deck. Hi, Zaya. Oh, hi, Zaya. Sorry, I'm reading and then, oh, Ruth, hi. Sure, I'll pull a card for you. So I'm pulling from this deck today. So it's a lot about how we connect to the physical deck itself. I love cards. I when I was a kid, I used to love, playing cards. And I love the feeling, the smell of them. I love touching them. And I think that there's a lot of that goes from me to the deck, from the deck to me and to you. I'll pull a card for Ruth, who says she wanted a card, and then I'll go back to my subject and talk a little more about how we can harness this energy from a physical object, or, through this physical object that is an oracle deck. Ruth, for you today, I have Maat. Oh, that's interesting. I have Maat, who is the goddess of fairness. She's an Egyptian goddess. Here you go. Sorry. Just trying to make it focus. Glasses. No, it's my camera. Okay, here we go. She's the goddess of fairness. And her message is, this situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. And it can be obviously any legal things that are happening in your life, but it's more general than that, I would think. And it's more to do with, there's so many things here. There's a lot of white birds. Doves, I think. Yeah, fairness. We were talking about that earlier on, but that was me kind of painting everything my colors here. But I don't think so. I think it has something to do with you. There's a lot of white feathers and white birds, white. So for some reason, the angels are calling for me here, and I'm wondering whether you could or should or it could be interesting to connect with angels. I'm going to go and have a look at Maat in my little book, because I'm not familiar with her. I know my Greek goddesses I know a lot. The others, I also read the books. Let me suggest, so I'm going to read it to you because I think it makes sense. Let me suggest another definition for fairness. It's when all parties involved surrender their agendas in favor of the greater good for the entirety of the group. This requires trust in the wisdom of the whole. Now that makes sense for me regarding you, Ruth, that it's about surrendering to the wisdom of the group and allowing for this fairness to emerge in me, you in this case, letting go of my own agenda. Let's put it this way. So I hope that makes sense. Here she goes again. Oh, but I think you have the deck, so you can go and have a look at the deck as well, because Ruth is a fellow card aficionado. So if anyone else wants a card from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, just give me your name in the comments. And if I go back to my conversation with myself around what is an oracle deck and how to use it, so I was saying there's a physical object, right? This deck itself. And so for some of us, like me, I'm kind of obsessed with the actual cards. I love cards. Plus there is the beauty of them and the imagery in which I can lose myself if I just dive into the image, and then things will come to my mind because I'm a very visual person. Obviously, you might not be. So maybe if you're interested in decks, you can have a look at decks that have less images or even no images at all. Like, just a minute, like this Gabby Bernstein deck, which has just a big sentence written all through it, and all of them are like this. So there are cards for everyone. Let me read here. Yes, I was just thinking about this, said Ruth, about not having to know what I'm going to say on lives and trusting the group. Yeah, well, that's precisely what I'm doing here. So I'm modeling that for you, because I came on live having no clue what I was going to talk about, because I was supposed to prepare this live, and then I was in a Zoom session for most of the afternoon, my afternoon, and so I didn't have time to prepare, but I still promised my peeps that I would come live, so I do. And I find a subject in the group or in myself or in whatever place it's hidden, and suddenly it becomes less hidden. So I decided to talk about oracle decks. And so the final thing, or one of the last things I want to say about oracle decks or about pulling cards, is that I don't believe that these things here have power in themselves per se. The power is in you and me. So what we're doing here when I'm pulling cards for people is I am connecting to your energy. And it's good because energy travels fast, and we can do that over the internet. If you do that in person, you can actually feel the energy, sometimes really very powerfully emanating from the person. And the deck is just a tool that we use to to reassure us that we're not completely cuckoo, and that the intuition that comes directly from the other person's energy can rest on some image and and I opened the deck to just show you a random card, and here comes Mary Magdalene and her unconditional love message. So it's kind of, yeah, sure, serendipity. So yeah, connecting to the energy of the other person, that's what pulling cards is all about. And also allowing, sorry, I'm tired, allowing for my intuition, my imagination, to just open up and like receive the information that you need to hear today. Oh, hi, Bernadette. Sure, you can have a card. Yeah. So the thing is, if we can open up to that, to the fact that the deck is just a tool, albeit a very important tool, because there are some decks that I bought and that I don't connect with. So I actually sold them again, or gave them away, because if the painting is not good for me, it's not doing it for me, well, I can't connect to that. But still, it's only a tool. And the place where I connect is somewhere deep in my heart and in my intuition, to your intuition and to your heart. And what that means, up to a certain extent, is that anyone can read oracle decks. I'm not that special. Okay, Bernadette, let me go. So, Bernadette, you got Lakshmi. Oh, I'm so happy for you. You got Lakshmi. Lakshmi is an Indian goddess, and she is all about the brightness of everything. She loves everything golden and shiny and bright. Sorry. And if you're going to do an altar around Lakshmi, or place on your altar for Lakshmi, the trick is to add shiny objects. She loves anything shiny because she's all about the brightness of life and promising you a bright future. She's also connected with elephants. So if you want to appeal to her for to come into your life more often, to have this brightness and this shining energy in your life, you can also decorate your whatever altar or place that you want to decorate with elephants, statues, or images. And the message, Bernadette, I'm going to read it 3 times for you, and you're going to just try and receive that. So that's for Bernadette, right? From Lakshmi. Stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. And again, stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. Stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. And that would be for Bernadette, with Lakshmi and myself blessing you on this journey of brightness. So what is Ruth saying? I love your explanation of the cards, and although anyone can learn to read them, no one is you. Obviously, no one is me. No one is me. No one is you either, by the way. Not you, Ruth. You, whoever is listening to this, or at some point. And my thing is that we can all become intuitive, and we can all receive these messages, of these energetic messages from another person. And there are two rules or two ways to learn. My pleasure, Bernadette. The first one is, I have to put myself in a position to be able to receive. Oh, I'm so happy, Bernadette. She says, I really needed to hear that. Much love. Yeah. That's why cards show up, because you need to hear what they say. So yeah, the first place to read oracle decks, oracle cards, and to pull cards for other people, or even for yourself, is, can I put myself in a place of purely receiving? And I learned today that it's such a comfortable place when you kind of lean into it, and receive from the universe, receive from your higher self, receive from your angels, receive from the goddesses, whatever you name this thing that is communicating with you or with me. I have to put myself in this position that I'm not pushing it. I'm just allowing the receiving. And the cards are just a nice tool that, I love this deck because it's all about Greek, it's all about goddesses, and I love goddesses. Now, there is a similar deck, I'm sure, with gods or with whatever, let's say fairies. There is one with mermaids. So if you connect with mermaids, if you love mermaids and you're a mermaid person, then go and buy this deck. I don't know if you can still buy it either, but if you connect with angels, there are so many messages, so many decks with angels. And the thing is, it doesn't only have to be a theme that you connect with. It can also be a way of speaking that you connect with. So for the person who wrote the booklet and who created the deck. And of course, for me, being a visual person, but I think it appeals to everyone, the image has to be something that you connect with. I actually have a very rare deck that I chased for years on the internet, and I bought it secondhand because it doesn't exist anymore, which is all about the Greek goddesses and heroines, and all about the Greek things. So if you know me a little bit, you know that I'm obsessed with the Greek things, because I'm Greek and I've been working with the Greek archetype, the Greek goddesses archetypes for over 10 years. That's what I do, in my work. And so I'm kind of obsessed. So you would think that this deck that I chased for 5 years or so, I'd be happy to have, and I'd be using it all the time. Tough. I don't like the paintings. They don't talk to me. It's like, the theme is good. Even the meaning is good. So that this goddess is in this deck connected to that type of energy or feeling or emotion that I agree with, but I don't like the paintings. So the image is kind of repelling me and I can't read them. It's like it's written in a foreign language, right? So yes, the cards are only a tool, but still a very important tool, because that's where our imagination and intuition find a place to rest and sit on. So again, and I think, this is one of my last calls. So if you want a card from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, just give me your name in the comments. So that's one of the things is, yes, the cards are nothing, and we could, just sit here and do divination with no tools at all. Some people do tea leaves or coffee mugs or crystal balls, or you can read anything. In ancient Rome, they used to read the way the birds were flying. In Greece, they used to read They threw little bones in the air, and the way they fell on the ground meant something. But again, it was all the interpretation of the reader. And so that's how much me, I'm open as a reader to allow for the messages to come, to allow for this intuitive, imaginative, unconscious part of me to just connect and say, hey, in this card, there's a white feather for me when I'm reading for you. So that's why I always want to know the people, the name of the peoples I'm reading for, right? Even if I've never met you and I don't know you, it's like I need a name so that I can, it's like a tether that I can, grasp this bit of energy and then connect to it magically. There is no other word. And then I can proceed to read a card for you. But then it's allowing this whatever comes, the weird times, and like, why do I want to talk about this little detail that shows up on the left corner of the card when it's not a major issue for the whole card? So why am I talking about this now? And sometimes this is the thing that will connect with the other person, and sometimes not, because I'm not, proof. I'm not everything is perfect, thank goodness. So one of the last calls, if you want a card from this deck tonight, just give me your name in the comments and I'll pull a card for you. Most days when I come live, I have things to sell also, because that's how I earn my living, but not today. Today, I don't know. I just wanted to come on live and talk about Oracle decks and how pulling Oracle cards is not such a big deal. It is a question of deciding that you can do it, but if you're interested in doing it, if it's calling you, if you hear the call, it's for you. That's what I wanted, to say. And as far as buying a deck, again, you would have to go with trust your gut, trust your intuition. If you can find a real shop, then my pleasure, Ruth. Just rambling about decks, as we do. So if you can find a real shop where you can see the decks and touch the decks, I would start with that if you've never bought any decks. Now, of course, the maniacs amongst us who have decks and more decks and more decks, we have Amazon. And so, for the crazy people like me, when I'm going to be binge shopping, it's going to be decks. It's going to be decks, and I have a lot. And it's really also interesting how some of them call me, and I use them regularly and very much, and some of them don't for a long time, and then for some reason they emerge as being a V deck, like a seasonal thing, okay, this one is coming on and on again, and others are all-time favorites. So it's like, how do we connect to this? And again, it's so much about allowing the thing to happen outside of my real choosing. Usually what I do is whenever I come live, I come with a deck, so that whatever I'm talking about, I'll have a deck, so that if I get stuck, I can just say, hey, I'm going to put a card for everyone. If I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I will end up putting a card. So I have a bunch of decks over there that you can't see, obviously. And how does this work? Well, just a couple of minutes before going online, I go, okay, I think it's going to be this one. And I don't second guess myself. I just grab a deck and here we go. Because it's like, if I start second guessing myself there at the choice of the deck, you guess I'm going to second guess myself later when I'm pulling cards, which I decided one day that I'm not doing anymore. So it's like, it's my choice. It's a crazy choice, I know. I'm going to trust that whatever card I pull for you and whatever I say to you at this minute is what you need to hear. And it's the same when I pull cards for myself. I pull cards for myself every morning, 3 cards from 3 different decks. and I take half an hour to write around what comes out, and because I can't listen to myself, so I have to write it down. And I pull a card for the week every Sunday night. I pull a card for the month usually, and I pull a card, well, 3 cards that go on my altars for every Wheel of the Year festival. Or so I change at every festival for the next 6 weeks until the next pagan festival. Which, just in case you were wondering, yes, I'm a witch. Check behind, and I'm owning it more and more. So yeah, Oracle decks. Choose your decks. What was that? Oh yeah, just don't second guess yourself, and own the fact that sometimes it will be really the thing that the person needed to hear, because I'm really connected with her and with me and with the deck, and sometimes it's going to be less than that. But it's all right. It's all right. And do it. Just, if you feel like doing it, do it. Do it for yourself. Create this thing in common life and do it. Bernadette saying I have the Rider Tarot deck. I haven't used years. Oh, about tarot. Although I'm not going to go in length because I want to do a whole live about tarot and maybe even a masterclass. Because what is happening is I've been playing with Oracle decks for over 10 years now, or 20 years. But tarot was like, oh, no, tarot is for serious people. Tarot is for people who have learned, tarot, or for magicians, for gypsy women, for, tarot is serious prediction tool. So you're not going to be using tarot. Well, I changed my mind about that. I basically found a tarot deck that I fell in love with. And from then on, I started studying, because it's a little different than Oracle decks. I started studying and a few courses, and also a self-study, and for friends, and to just get acquainted with the tarot system and with the energy that comes from that means that every tarot deck has the same energy for each card, roughly. Obviously there are things that are at play, but this it's really kind of more of a system, the tarot deck, whereas the Oracle decks are really different. Some of them are this way or that way, and you can find your own friends in there. So I'm going to pull a card for the people watching the replay and for myself, as I do. And this is my last ever, my nose is killing me here, call for a card for tonight, because then I am officially declaring that I am on weekend. And this is one of my letting go things this autumn. I let go of working on Saturdays and Sundays. That's it. I'm not working on weekends anymore. I need some off time, and I give it to myself. So for anyone watching the replay, this is your card if you want one. And we have Erakura, and she is the goddess of blossoming. Isn't she beautiful? And she's all about this instant where we are just started, this little budding little flower, and the importance of having a lot of patience with oneself at that moment, and in the process, trusting the process, not giving up, and maybe not sharing too much about this new endeavor that we are experiencing. Because when it's a tiny little flower like this, and if I just put it out for everyone to see, what might happen is somebody might just walk with a big boot on it and kill it. So when we have new things, and when we are in this phase of blossoming, it's like, have patience, trust the process, don't give up, and don't overshare it. Keep it a little to yourself, like a little baby that you want to keep safe in your hands until it's strong enough to resist criticism, for instance. So that's for anyone watching the replay. Now, extreme last call about for tonight. If somebody wants a card, you just give me your name in the comments and I'll pull a card for you. Otherwise, I'll put myself in a weekend situation. So yeah, I think I will be doing lives regularly talking about cards and intuition and goddess stuff on the Fridays. So that's what they're called, Goddess Cards Friday. Yeah. And that will happen every Friday around 6:30 p.m. Paris time, everywhere. And there will also be another live, which is going to be every Monday, same time, so 6:30 p.m. Paris time every Monday, and it's called Techie Monday. And it's a little different because I opened up my business to a new, completely different part of myself. So I'm teaching tech and helping women create their online businesses and using the tech and choosing the tech and everything. So on Mondays, I will come and discuss a tech thing, but still, because it's me, I'll come with cards. So that's Monday, Techie Mondays, 6:30 p.m. Paris time. Goddess Cards Friday, 6:30 p.m. Paris time. And exclusive content in the group, 5 p.m. Paris time on Wednesdays. But this is something different. This is just for the people in my group. And if you're not in my group, well, you need to join us. That's where all the fun is. And the group's name is Living a Goddess Life. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go unless somebody wants a card. But I think it's my time. And I am ready to give myself the joy of a weekend. So I'm going to love you all and leave you, and I will see you next week. Lots of love. Bye for now.